Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is regeneration, which is actually something very close to my heart. And we get to look at how we can create a thriving world beyond sustainability into thrivability. But before we get started with that, let's just take a minute to get settled in and present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it, and allow that oxygen to just course into your lungs and throughout your bloodstream and enliven every cell in your body. And as you exhale, just exhale any tension, your neck, your back, your shoulders, your hips, your legs and arms. Let's take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and this time imagine sparkling white light coursing through every molecule of your body, through your body and beyond, connecting you with the universe and the vast network of information and vitality that's all around us. And exhale any tension. And now let's just gently press our palms together and softly rub your fingers against your palms. Feel that tingling and that tickling in your fingers and in your palms. And let's just presence ourselves to the deliciousness of that and of being in a body here to experience the world together. And welcome. So I'm so glad to have you here with me. I am still navigating how to find our lives as they go live so that I can see your comments. For some reason, Facebook hasn't been playing very nicely these days with me in terms of being able to see our comments. So I'm trying to get that rocking and rolling here, and yeah, I don't see it. So until I can find the comments, we're just going to wing it here. I've gotten very used to communicating with you directly, and I so appreciate all your input. If I'm not able to see the comments during this live, what I will do is respond to you afterwards. Okay? So I think I might have it here. Anyway, today we're talking about regeneration. Some of you who have been more regular here know that I have another podcast called Sustainability Now. And in that podcast, myself and my partner, Scott Billy, my business partner, introduce all kinds of technologies and paradigms for creating sustainability, and really for me what that means is thriving, because I really truly believe that sustainability, to be sustainable, we need to be creating, we need to be generative. And so last night we had a really awesome movie night. We show movies every Thursday night, and you're welcome to join us. If you go to sustainabilitynow.global instead of .com, or look us up on Facebook, you'll see links to register for our live events, and it's every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time till about 9. And so last night we showed a movie that was called A Simpler Way, and it was about alternative communities and ways to live closer to the land and with less impact on our planet. And we had 2 live guests who are dear friends that are starting a community that is really to build paradise and to build a community that is positive impact. So I want to talk about that because it's aligned with this whole notion of regeneration, not just not just creating zero impact, but creating a positive impact. And the point of that is that even if we reduced ourselves to zero impact on the planet, we still have lots and lots and lots of things that need cleaning up. And the fact of the matter is that in pretty much everything we do in our culture, we have at least some nominal, at the very best, a nominal negative impact. When we go to the grocery store and we buy something that has plastic packaging, or we drive our cars, or any number of other things, we put waste down the garbage disposal, it goes on and on and on. Even if we're really, really conscientious and we recycle and we do all the right things, we still are in a cycle, in a system that creates ongoing negative impact. So what do we do? Because we need to find a way to make a positive difference in the world. And one way, and I want to talk about this because it's accessible to all of us, one way is to plant trees. And the reason that we want to plant trees is, well, there are many, many, many reasons why we want to plant trees. And I'm not talking about you going out and planting trees yourself, because it does take some skill. You need to know where to plant them. You need to know how to plant them. You need to have access to them. But the great news is that there are a pile of organizations that do plant trees, and this is really good news. Now, why do we want to plant trees? One is that we have been destroying the rainforest, and this planting trees doesn't make up for destroying the rainforest, because in the rainforest there's all kinds of plants that we don't know anything about that have all kinds of amazing medicinal properties, not to mention the habitats, not to mention the impact actually of trees on climate. But one of the big reasons for planting trees is to sequester carbon. So much of what we do is carbon producing, which raises the temperature of our planet. Okay, as we put more carbon in the atmosphere, we're degrading the quality of our air and our environment and toxifying it, but we're also raising the temperature on the planet. And with raising the temperature on the planet, it melts the ice caps, which is going to create, and is already creating, all kinds of flooding and weird, dangerous weather patterns, and it goes on and on and on. So what can we do? So one of the most simple things that we can do is plant trees. And so I've pulled together a bunch of different organizations that you can look into that plant trees, and this is all good news. So there's an organization called Tree Sisters. It's treesisters.org, and according to their website, to this point, they have planted over 12,424,943 trees, which is pretty awesome. And there's another organization called 8 Billion Trees, and I didn't get a number as to, it's 8billiontrees.com. I did not get a number as to how many trees they've planted to this point, but their objective is to be planting 8 billion trees. These are organizations that you can contribute to, and we're going to talk about how we can make positive impact on our environment, even in the lifestyle that we are currently living in our current culture. There's another organization called Eden like the Garden of Eden projects.org. And so far they have planted 361,919,271 trees. 361,919,271 trees. And the idea here is to create reforestation. When we create reforestation, we're also helping to preserve our soils. We are shifting the energy patterns of the weather. So we're shifting weather patterns for our benefit, and creating more livable climate. We're adding oxygen to the air, and it goes on and on and on. So another organization is called nationalforests.org, and they have a 50 million tree goal, which in the light of some of these others is not as large, but hey, every bit counts. And then there's another organization called trees.org, and they've planted 187,042,083 trees. And so the thing that we can do to offset our footprint is, for instance, we could calculate, if we wanted to get really nerdy about it, which is kind of an awesome thing, we could calculate the amount that we drive our cars, and based on that, find an estimate of the carbon that we are contributing to the atmosphere, and then we can plant or support people to plant trees that offset that impact. So there are things that we can do to actively improve our world that are actually pretty simple if we look for these solutions. And the planting of trees is a remarkable and an awesome solution. Now, the idea here, we're talking about regeneration, and we have a lot of devastation, climate, and community and environmental devastation in our at our hand, let's say, and it is ongoing. So planting trees isn't going to solve all our problems, but it's something that we can do and we can easily support, and it makes a profound difference on the planet. So the thing is that probably most of us are really conscientious about recycling. The truth is, with recycling, most of what we recycle, particularly plastics, never ends up getting recycled, and it goes into the waste stream, and it goes into the oceans, and it goes into landfills, and it will be here to haunt us for years and years and years to come. So until we find a way to eliminate our use of plastic, and certainly to eliminate the single-use plastics for the plastics that we currently have. Eventually we may be able to have completely biodegradable plastics, and that would be a whole different story. But until that time, there are lots of things that we can do to minimize our impact. But what we want to also look at is, how can we start generating positive impact? And little things can do that. And one of the little things that's actually quite huge is to take on this reforestation of the planet, by supporting organizations that are planting trees. And so I want to think about this whole idea of regeneration. We are seeing it show up in our conversation about our planet and warming climate change, and we're also seeing this notion of regeneration showing up in our health. And when we look at our health outside of environmental health, which we really can't separate from our own personal health, but when we look at personal health, there's all kinds of research and products and protocols out there now to be able to regenerate ourselves, regenerate our cells and ourselves, to improve our health, to actually become more youthful over time through diet, through supplements, through activities. So we're learning about regeneration. It used to be years and years ago, the medical belief was that we had a limited number of brain cells, and those brain cells, that was it. They didn't regenerate. Muscles didn't regenerate. Organs didn't regenerate. That we were in essentially a pattern of steady decline, regardless of how we lived within our bodies and our beings. And we're learning so much more in the field of epigenetics, which lets us understand that we have the capacity and the capability to regenerate, to regenerate in the face of illnesses that had previously been believed to be terminal or progressive or unreversible. And we're finding that we do have these capacities, that there is a notion and a potential, a notion of and a potential for regeneration. And what we can look at when we think about this, and I so apologize that I cannot see your comments. I can't figure out how to get today's live showing up on Facebook. So please just put your comments in, and I will respond to them, I promise. But what I want to address is that we are in the midst of a shifting paradigm. And this is so, many shifting paradigms, but one of the shifting paradigm is from degeneration to regeneration. And we're seeing this possibility, this new way of thinking, penetrating all different kinds of areas in our lives, from agriculture to physical health to shifting climate change to on and on and on, where we are looking at things from a different lens. And the lens is one of vitality and hopefulness and regeneration, and creating new possibility rather than going down a path of consistent decline. We're looking at ways that we can create an evolutionary pathway for ourselves. And we're even doing that culturally right now. We're looking, it may look like things are falling apart, and things need to fall apart before they can regenerate oftentimes. But what we're looking at is, in this moment of pause for so many of us, through COVID, we've had the opportunity to deepen our sense of ourselves and our purpose and our values and our priorities. And we are hopefully generating a new, or regenerating a new perspective on living and life, and how we want life to be, and how we're going to create it going forward into the future. So I am eager to hear and see what you've commented. I hope that you will take advantage of some of our tree resources, so that you will choose to move into creating a positive impact in whatever way you can. We want to leave the planet better for our having been here. And it is possible we can do that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through planting trees. So I'm just going to mention those organizations, and there are lots of other ones. So, if you check into these and they don't speak to you, look deeper, because this is something that we can all do to make a difference. So one of the organizations is called onetreeplanted.org. Another is treesisters.org. 8billiontrees.com, and that's the number 8 and the word billiontrees.com. Eden, like the Garden of Eden projects.org, and nationalforests.org, and trees.org. So I hope, I don't know about you, but for me to know that there's something so simple that I can do that can make a difference on the planet and ensure our, or bolster our health and welfare going forward, to me, to know that I can do something to make a positive impact, not just minimize my impact, is a really hopeful and life affirming thing that I'm very grateful for. So I hope that you'll join me in reforesting the planet. And periodically, I just can't help myself. These issues of planet and ecology and climate and our responsibility as stewards on this magnificent earth that nurtures and makes our lives possible, giving back in a way that is nurturing is a really profoundly important thing in my world, and I hope it is for you. And so this is Friday, and I want to say thank you so much for being here with me. And I so enjoy these conversations with you. Hopefully I'll figure out how to see the comments as things go by during these chats. And this is the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin. I'm here every day, weekday at 9 a.m. And this is the Enlightened World Network. So please check out the Enlightened World Network for all the wonderful programming that's here, the community that's filled with heart and soul. And I look forward to seeing you again. Have a great weekend. Lots and lots of love to you.